I'll speak for him. We had fixtures like you guys in our living room telling us the life you can live overseas.
Right.
And he and I lived together along with my daughter in Portland, and he would sit down and he'd listen and so I always had my eyes on Thailand.
Right.
But we also looked at other countries as well, and he came in one day and said,
"This is Dan of Vagabond Awake, and today we have Red with us. Red, put her there.
Great to meet you finally.
Happy to have you on the channel."
Yeah, glad to be here.
So, Red, where are we sitting right now, and what's your home country?
Yeah, we are at Green Coffee in Dalat, Vietnam.
Okay.
And this is I would say my home base of operations, but I'm from the United States, came here from Portland, and have lived in Tennessee, Texas, Arkansas, Florida, mostly the Southeast, but squeezed on up to the Pacific Northwest for about 7 years.
7 years before you moved to Southeast Asia?
Well, took a little detour down to Mexico for a few months with my dad.
Right.
And just to kind of see how he liked this type of life, and moved on from there.
Right,
So,
right. Well, that's what actually, I saw your channel and you had a video, and we'll talk about your channel in a minute.
Yeah, sure.
You had a video about how you had moved your father to Southeast Asia, and that's a fascinating concept. Just to tell you why, I had a friend who was from part of Asia that lived in the United States. He was a good friend of mine, and he was contemplating with his father, moving his father outside the U.S. because he could have gotten better treatment. His father was older, had a debilitating disease, and he wanted his father to have more attention. And so they were contemplating at one time. And so when I read that, I thought there's probably a lot of people in the U.S. that are thinking, you know, would my parents have a better life if they weren't trying to live in the U.S. or not? And so I thought, I'd love to have you on the channel, so welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so we're in Vietnam, but where's your dad?
He's in Chiang Mai, Thailand.
Okay, okay.
And next state over. We got a couple of states over.
And how did that come about, where you're here and he's there?
Yeah, when we were in Mexico together, we were planning on coming to Thailand together.
Okay.
But he had some health issues pop up, so we decided to send him to the States to stay with some family, go see his medical doctors kind of one last time before he decided what he wanted to do, which was a dilemma for him because he has a lady friend in Mexico, which is what he decided to do. He decided to go back to Mexico from there.
Right.
And then, but I came on to Thailand, where I thought I was going to live forever and ever until I, visited here.
Right.
So I did not heed your warning to kind of go to a few places and pick.
Okay.
I did my own thing. So I was in Chiang Mai for probably about 4 months before I came here on a visa run.
Right.
And ended up staying here, and just now I go back to Chiang Mai. I ended up moving my dad there in October last year, about 8 months ago, 9 months ago. So that's where he is now. Now he's in Chiang Mai. I'm here, and I go back to see him generally on my 90-day visa run.
That's great. That's great. And so your father's in Chiang Mai. He's been there since October, so almost a year, whatever, 8, 9, 10 months. What is his cost of living there, roughly?
Say if you're talking about day to day, he keeps it under $1,200 US a month.
So that would be like his rent, restaurants, grocery stores,
transportation, entertainment, coffees, all that.
Yeah.
So, and then there's all sorts of different ways you can manage your visa, your health insurance, and things like that.
Right.
And that would be something additional that you either budget every month or pay out of pocket once a year.
I see. So, does he have health care in Thailand?
He does.
What does that cost him per year?
Yeah. So he's on a plan that cost him $1,900 US.
Okay.
Pays it out of pocket all at once, although now they are allowing you to spread that out over 3 months.
Okay.
Kind of nice.
Yeah.
and then he's on a basic retirement visa.
Okay. And so so that 18-ish hundred that would be on top of the around 1,200 a month of his.
That's right.
Okay, great. And has he had experience with Thailand healthcare yet? Has he been to a clinic or a hospital? And what's his feedback about that?
He's been to several different ones, and so some of them you're more, I would say, public healthcare. You're going to be almost kind of in a auditorium with a lot of people there,
right?
And you may wait a long time, a longer time. So to see a doctor or two, it could be almost an all-day process,
right?
But very cheap.
Okay.
So he's done that, and then he's done more, private clinics and doctors kind of since then, which he prefers. And you're still looking very affordable for a routine visit or testing and things like that.
My experience of Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam is that the day-to-day stuff, not the emergency stuff, not a heart attack, not a stroke, not cancer maybe, all that stuff is just so cheap. Like
very cheap.
Do you have examples of what he's paid for that kind of
stuff? Yeah, so he's gone to several doctors, gotten several prescriptions. He's gone to chiropractors, and you're never talking really about spending more than $50, $60 US per visit and treatment, whatever he's getting.
That's great. Yeah. And what was part of the thinking to move him to Mexico or Southeast Asia, or his thinking about that? Was it about something about an adventurous life, or was it more about cost of living? What was the thinking behind it?
Well, I'll speak for him. We had fixtures like you guys in our living room telling us the life you can live overseas.
Right.
And he and I lived together along with my daughter in Portland, and he would sit down and he'd listen and so I always had my eyes on Thailand.
Right.
But we also looked at other countries as well, and he came in one day and said, so I'm going to move to Mexico. And I said, yeah, sure you are. Sure you are. But he kind of stuck with it, and he started paring down all of his clothes and deciding what he was going to do with this. He had a duffel bag that sat full with everything that he was going to take with him, just to see how that worked.
Yeah.
And about 4 months later, he was gone. And then 7 weeks later, I joined him. So my daughter decided she was going to pursue her dream in LA as a model.
Okay.
And so I decided, am I going to stay here by myself in Portland? I mean, I don't have friends. So I decided to hit the road too.
Okay. And then that's when you went to Chiang Mai?
Yeah, I went down to Mexico and stayed there for about 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And then I had plans to move both of us to Chiang Mai.
Okay.
But like I was saying, we sent him back to the States for some medical care, and I decided to move on to Chiang Mai from there.
And so, what's your dad's take on? I don't know. Some people are leaving because they're going away from something. Some people are going towards adventure. Or what's his story about that? Like, what's his?
He and I both we are not into material possessions at all. We're into experiences, and for him, Portland and the Pacific Northwest was a great experience. He lived in the American South his whole life.
Yeah.
And so being up there and getting to explore and see the natural beauty, for several years, he was ready and primed for, I think, another adventure. Okay. And he wanted his money to stretch further, and he didn't, as he's getting older, I think that played a role in it as well, where he wanted to spend a few years exploring the world.
You have a daughter who's pursuing modeling. She must be in her 20s?
She's 23.
And you don't look old enough?
I am 51.
Wow, you look great.
You can edit that out. I'm just playing.
You going for 39 years?
Yeah, that's right.
And your dad?
He is now 78.
78.
So he was 77 when we got him to Thailand. He's 76 whenever he decided he was getting out of town.
Right. That's great. And so do you put yourself in that category that your dad's seeing the world? Is it, or are you going away from cost of living, or what's your personal thing? So in this video, Red talks about both himself and his father, and he's about to transition to talking about Dalat, Vietnam. But the most important thing he shared with me was after we filmed this video, he talked about how his father went from being in bed in so much pain that it was hard for him to even get out of bed and walk, and he was on oxygen, and through a series of events, Red and his father, now his father lives in Thailand and walks and lives a normal life. And so at the end of this video, I'll put a video up here in the corner. Go over there and watch that video. If you're ever going to have pain in your future, you need to know this information now. But at the end, you'll watch the video. Right now, hear about Dalat, Vietnam. Red will continue talking about that.
Yeah, well, when I decided I was leaving Portland also, I decided that I was going to leave it all. So I sold everything that I had, or that I could, and then gave away the rest. And I decided that I had enough in savings to make this thing go for a couple of years.
Right.
And it's been a couple of years. I'm still here. So yeah, my childhood dream was always to see the world, but it was never something that I thought much about until about 6 or 8 months before I ended up leaving, when I got into the YouTube videos and things like that. When I started seeing, there's a path here that I could do this, because I could always come back and get a job back in the States.
Right.
I could get the same job I had possibly back in Portland.
Right.
So the risk to me was selling all your stuff. Well, that didn't matter to me anyway. So money well spent.
Yeah, that's great. And so let's switch to Vietnam for a minute. So you were in Chiang Mai. You came here on a visa run.
Yep.
And you've been here pretty much since?
Yep.
So what do you see the difference between the two?
Two major differences. Number one is the weather. That's the one that just hits you in the face when you get off the plane, no matter which plane you get off of.
Right.
But I had chosen Chiang Mai because relative to Thailand, it had the kind of the best weather most of the time.
Yeah, cooler weather maybe
and drier,
and drier,
not as humid. Yeah.
Right.
And I'm not a huge beach guy. I prefer more mountains and scenery that way.
Yeah.
So I had planned on staying in Chiang Mai, but I had a problem with in my apartment. The plumbing exploded in the bathroom, so they put me in a temporary apartment, told me I could get out of my lease if I wanted to. It was getting very hot and smoky season.
Oh, the smoke season, yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm like, I'll take 6 weeks and go visit Dalat, Vietnam. I searched it and I said that might be a little bit better weather.
Right.
And it wasn't long after I was here that I started meeting the people, and the people would be the other reason that I'm here. It's just very easy to connect and get a sense of family, and the people here just really love that you're here, and you don't get a lot of tourists here from America and Europe.
Right.
It's great for local tourism.
Yeah.
Huge local tourism here. But when I decided to, I met my girlfriend within like 2 or 3 weeks after I was here. So we started dating, and and then that's it.
That's great. That's great. That's a great reason.
Uh-huh.
And when you say there's local tourists here, it's not as well known internationally here, but the locals know about it. What is it they love about this place?
This is a resort city, really. I mean, to find a place with it's ecotourism, so beautiful, right? Rolling mountains, hills, very green. The cafes are epic.
Yeah.
And so people come here. It's Instagrammable. Everybody comes here, no matter what age. Vietnam is actually purposefully wedging Dalat as a city for music, city for natural beauty. They're building out the airport. They're updating the expressways. So it's a concentrated effort by Vietnam to make it more appealing to more international people who come and visit too. So, but the people come here to escape the heat.
Yeah.
The locals come here to escape the heat.
That's right. Yeah. And the greenery is just gorgeous. It's a very pleasant place to be. Yeah. And some people like the heat, they like the beach, and other people are more like you, they're more mountain people. Yeah. I would say we're more beach people.
Yeah.
Like we love it here. We just love spending time here. But at the beach, we wake up in the morning and we don't have to have clothes. We walk around the house with just our underwear on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here you gotta have on a t-shirt and maybe whatever, something, or it's a little cool. But it's a nice break from the hot weather. So what about cost of living? Is this similar to Chiang Mai? Is it what is it costing you roughly per month to live here?
It's cheaper here. I can live much more affordably here in Dalat. I usually keep it under $1,000 US per month.
Right.
And I'm drinking coffee at cafes every day, usually 2, maybe 3, or tea.
Yeah.
My lifestyle is set up where I do whatever I want to do for that cost.
That's great.
And it's because I save on, Grab rides. Even when you do get a Grab ride here, they're about 60% cheaper than they are in Thailand.
Yeah.
Even. So you can get most anywhere in the city for under $2 US.
Yeah.
And I only order a Grab maybe 3 or 4 times a week.
Okay.
And the rest of the time I can walk wherever.
Right.
So.
And give us an example, like what's your rent and what's a typical meal you have for lunch or dinner?
You said my rent?
Your rent and just a couple meal examples. Maybe both local, cheap if you like that kind of food, which we do, and maybe like if you walk into an expat restaurant and spend some money.
Yeah, there's good range.
Yeah.
So I have a 2-bedroom, 1-bath townhouse style apartment in a little gated area.
Okay.
And I pay 6,300,000 dong per month.
Wow.
So that might be what, 240, 250 US.
That's great.
And you don't have air conditioner or heater here.
Don't need it.
Never need it.
Yeah.
And I'm the guy that sweats when somebody looks at me wrong. So you'd never need it. And so it's comfortable year round, both day and night. Like you were saying in another video, you wear a hoodie or something like that, and you're good to go at night.
Yeah.
And you don't need it so much during the day usually. Food is so my morning breakfast is my favorite is 𝗙𝐻 𝐸.
Yeah.
And I get it at my local cafe, which is a beautiful place to sit down, surrounded by greenery. And I spend 22,000 dong on that. Of course, you get complimentary jasmine tea as well.
Of course.
So that's about 80 cents. And I usually stay there for about 3 hours and go across the street and get a cappuccino.
Okay.
And that one's pretty expensive. That is 37,000 dong, or about $1.35.
Okay.
So I'm there for another 3 hours working, and then I go home for the afternoon usually.
That's great. And what if you get an urge to eat whatever, steak or Mexican or something? How about that?
Yeah, so there's a range. Number one, Mexican you mentioned in particular, very difficult to find what someone would say is Mexican food. Anna's Coffee House, if you're in the area, good place.
Okay.
Cafeteria Burger Tacos. Yes, that's the name. They have good quesadillas.
We've been there.
Tacos.
We tried it. Yeah, I had the urge.
And great burgers. Good burgers. But you can expect to pay. Whenever I'm going into a place for a burger or to Mexican, you can expect to pay $7 to $10 US.
Is that included drink?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No. But your drinks generally in those places are another $1 maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if you're willing to live local, you're looking like $1.50 a meal. And if you want to eat the home food,
that's right.
You're looking at what, 7 to 10?
7 to 10, and that goes for pizza too.
Right.
There are some really good pizza places here.
Okay.
And that's the same thing, $7 to $10 for
which is
pizza.
Probably half now or a third of the U.S. prices.
That's right. Another thing is that I can walk everywhere here, able-bodied, and the weather again. Chiang Mai is amazing to walk at night. I do it all the time, but don't walk during the day. Too far.
Yeah, when we're in Chiang Mai or like Nha Trang or Da Nang, Vietnam, or somewhere like we did follow during the hot part of the year. We follow that siesta thing where we're out of the house until 9 or 10 or 11 in the morning. We hide indoors until 4:35.
Everything here is a community. Like you go down this road or this road, and each road has everything you need in a very small area. And you can venture out and go to some cool, unique places, but you don't have to. During the week, sometimes I just stay half a kilometer from where I live and just poke around.
My channel is about people retiring. That's why your dad's like. So how do you feel about safety here in Chiang Mai? Are either an issue or both are, or what's your thoughts?
I mean, I would say those two cities are the two safest cities I've ever lived in. In my life. I've lived in Nashville and Memphis and Portland and Dallas and all sorts of cities. And there are swaths of those cities that I would not be caught dead walking at night.
Of course.
But here it's I get out of somewhere and it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I can walk 45 minutes home. And there's still places open, little stands selling food and things like that. So it's not like it's a pitch black. You found love, or you're dating now? Was that online? How did that happen? That was an accident. So
hopefully not a motorcycle.
No, right. Well, when I first went to Thailand, I honestly, I was single. I'm moving to Thailand. You've known about Thailand your whole life, and I'm like, I am ready to go. And about a month into it, I'm like, I'm ready to stop. It can be a lot in Thailand. So dating in Thailand, I did have a couple of ladies that I started dating almost at the same time, because I was just going out and hanging out with people. But then there were two ladies that I was kind of interested in. But then I came and visited here. And while I was here, I had a cell phone issue, so I went into a local cell phone store. And somebody said, "Hello, may I help you?" And it scared me. It was somebody behind me, like really scared me. And I turned around and I saw this beautiful young lady. I said, I never do this. I never say this, but I said, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful." And I said, I'm sorry. So I felt really, really weird, but she handled it very well. And I met her at her friend's restaurant the next night, and we all hung out. So we became kind of friends. We weren't dating for several weeks, a couple of months, and then started dating in about 3 months after I had first arrived here. So,
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
You look very happy about the situation.
I mean, she's great. So absolutely. So we found you because of your channel. Talking about your dad, which was fascinating. You got to go and watch his channel. Tell us the name of the channel, and then tell us what you like to talk about on there. Oh, sure. The channel is called Global Red. It's at global-red, REDD, 2 Ds. Very important.
We'll put it up here on the screen.
Oh yeah, that's nice. It looks great. When I moved here and I started going to the cafes, I caught a passion for catching those cafes on little videos and things. And only here recently have I decided to kind of do an informational series that's about Thailand and Vietnam, not a Thailand versus Vietnam.
That's good.
The other way around.
They're both great.
Since I live between the two, and I feel like I've got a magic potion for some people.
You do.
I just want to share that.
It's great to hear your story. Thanks for coming on the channel. And everybody, go over to check out Red's channel. I'll put the link below. Take care, everyone. Bye. Make sure to watch Red's video now to learn how to stop pain in your life. It may apply to you someday in the future.